up, everybody? It's your 5-star realtor, Joshua Ingram, partnered with Page Properties Team, brokered by EXP. We're on another episode of a brand new podcast called The Dream Builders Podcast. We have a special guest today, Ryan Frazier with Profusion Aesthetics. How you doing today, Ryan?
How you doing, great?
Man, doing great. I cannot forget the man, the myth, and the legend, my partner, Bradford Page with Page Properties Team.
Joshua, good to see you. Hey, welcome.
Sir.
Yeah, we're interested to hear what's going on.
Yeah, this is going to be a great conversation today. So, my first question for you, Mr. Ryan, what the heck is aesthetics and how do you spell it?
Okay, aesthetics. So it's interesting, yeah, the aesthetics thing, because there are like certain ways you kind of spell it, but I lean into the AESTHETICS.
Okay.
So it is spelled more than one way.
And there are, yeah, you see some places that just do the E aesthetics, and yeah, so. That's just kind of what we leaned in for the company name. Profusion being a kind of a play on words because we are founded through a group of profusionists. Those are my two business partners, and the Profusion company that I work for full time. Aesthetics, by and large, I operate a medical aesthetics clinic, concierge medical aesthetics provider service, and medical aesthetics would be using modern day technologies to kind of increase your looks and kind of your health and the modalities of care that we offer.
Okay.
So some of the aesthetics, classically speaking, we're talking about like doing facials and brow lifts and
Butt lifts?
Sometimes that's more plastics, but for the right price, always. No, but for the aesthetics on our end, we usually we tend to lean heavily into PRP-based modalities of care. Regenerative health care is kind of our niche, what we really want to do.
Okay.
Our ideologies are based in the fact that we've honed techniques and services that we had in the cardiothoracic surgical setting with a perfusionist. Mm-hmm. We kind of play with aspects of blood and the clotting cascade and regenerative properties of blood using PRP, platelet-rich plasma.
Oh, wow.
And we then go into thinking, well, we're leaving a lot of money on the table here.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is not just for sternal wound closure, sternal wound bed healing, stuff like that. We can use this in aesthetics. Yeah. We can use this in orthopedics. We can use it in all areas of aesthetics and healthcare to kind of increase people's health, their look, how they feel about themselves. And that just comes into a nice, neat little package that is Profusion Aesthetics.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been doing this?
Company inception was July of 2022, I believe. So we're just rounding out about a year and a half, coming up on 2 years. Mm-hmm. I've been Perfusion for about 4 years now. Coming up on 4 years of that, and then bridging from critical care nursing. So
okay.
I went back to grad school and got my nurse practitionership. So I'm a board certified family nurse practitioner, and that kind of opens up me to have prescriptive authority and all of the kinds of techniques that I learned in school.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that you do a lot more than just aesthetics. Not taking anything away from that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, I guess we look at aesthetics and people trying to beautician kind of thing, real kind of just surface. But, you do some other things as well that really qualify you to take it to a deeper level. So.
Yeah, because above all, obviously I'm a business owner, but I'm a nerd above all. So when it came down to the research and the nerdy critical care nursing stuff, I always leaned heavily into that. Mm-hmm. I don't lean heavily into like some of the smoke and mirrors you tend to see in aesthetics. I obviously don't look like an esthetician, usually, but I do bring all of my techniques and stuff from the critical care nursing setting and the operating room into a little more informal environment, and at the same time brings balance to what I do. Yeah. So I have a very serious job in the operating room and then the critical care setting, and then you get to the esthetician. It's kind of lighthearted. It's a little less tight-knit about
less intense.
It's less intense, People are happy to see you. You're not seeing them.
If we haven't made it clear, he works with open heart surgery and that type of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I'm a little... I don't think I'll be able to...
Yeah, you're not operating on my kid.
For sure. So what inspired you to establish Profusion Aesthetics, and how did you come up with the idea of Crown Aesthetics products? How did that come about?
Great question. So in the operating room, the group of perfusionists we work with, we do blood magic essentially. Oh, wow. We take gases out of blood, we put gases back in blood, we manage the clotting cascade, which is kind of really integral to how to keep somebody going during heart surgery and stuff like that. So We also separate aspects of blood. So we've been using PRP, platelet-rich plasma, as a means of, we draw a bunch of blood, we spin it really fast, and it makes the blood separate. We take the growth hormones out of it and the growth factors out of it, and we actually use that for healing people. So we apply that to some of the graft sites for the veins and also for the surgical wound beds. And we use that to lower instances and necessity for some painkillers, lower scarring, and increases it lowers the healing times. So we know very well that works very good for establishing blood flow places and actually even growing hair in some instances. So we are like, hey, we have this PRP stuff, is like, we can utilize this in a bunch of effective ways. I felt like at the time, aesthetics was a great bridge into that. Your exposure and your overhead for that situation, like how dangerous it is for clients, like your risk benefit is very, very low. So the benefit you can do to a patient without having side effects, because everything has side effects, is very low, and it's super effective. The research suggests it, and we then are like, well, let's figure out what we can do. What are our friends, what are other people who are very effective at this doing, and we surround ourselves with some very, very smart people who are experts at this, master injectors, and absolute professionals in their respective disciplines. And we found that utilizing something through Crown Aesthetics provided us with the means to utilize the best PRP, to render the best PRP we can, with the best product, with the highest purity and the highest concentration of platelet-rich plasma, and then also bridging into a collagen induction therapy using a skin pen. So what that effectively is, and I'm getting kind of wordy here, but effectively what it is we...
Yeah, I do feel like I'm getting a college.
Yeah, you're getting a class.
Yeah, welcome to Get Service. This is my practitioner. But then we can switch places and we can talk about real estate. So what we do is we use, essentially, it's like a tattoo gun. Essentially, we numb your face up really good and create these small micro wounds and channels into your skin and tell your skin to grow back the collagen that it loses starting at like age 30. Like once you hit 30, the collagen level in your skin just starts to nosedive. So what we do is we essentially tattoo the PRP into your skin and tell your skin to grow back that collagen. It helps with pigmentation issues, scars, fine lines, wrinkles, all kinds of stuff. So aesthetics leans heavily into like these little potions and stuff that you kind of inject, Botox, all these chemicals and stuff. And we think that people are kind of getting away from that effectively. They want to get away from like your snake oils, and not necessarily snake oils, but effective products, but chemicals.
Yeah.
Why not utilize what your body already has? Like, would you rather grow back your kidneys or would you get a kidney transplant? Grow your kidney back. So why aren't we using something like that in the aesthetics world? So that's kind of why we leaned very heavily into Crown Aesthetics and their products. And their support's great too. That's a great company. Our reps and stuff are always awesome. Thank you, Alex. So we really do like that company and what they kind of stand for and how the products they provide. So those are that's our flagship.
So you're not, with that process, you're not putting anything artificial into the into the body.
No, I'm injecting your body's own growth hormones hyper concentrated. So your body's really amazing, but it's non-specific. That's what I say. So like if you cut yourself, like platelets and growth factors don't just automatically go directly to the spot. They passively flow by via circulation. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the best parts of what your bloodstream does in a wonderful, magical way, and I'm directing it purposefully and hyper concentrated. So it gives you it's a really smart way to go about
So
doing
this is your own blood that's taken out, spun, and then put back in.
I come to you on your time whenever you want. I draw your blood. I have sophisticated dual bucket based centrifuge. I spin the blood down, separate it there, draw it up, and provide you with services.
That's awesome. That's technology, y'all.
Yeah.
That's really good technology. So my question for you, Mr. Ryan, can you share a notable success story of the transformation from patient that undergo the treatment?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a pretty good story. I have a client that I'm working with, and from a young age, she actually had like an autoimmune disorder where she was effectively allergic to sunlight. So that rendered her skin with these scars and stuff, and we're still working on her, but you can see from the first to the fourth treatment we're on right now noticeable decrease in scarring, noticeable decrease in the pigmentation issues that she had. It's nice because I like to do like really good work for people, and effectively what you see every day is your face. You look in the mirror, you see your face. The first thing people see about you is your face, and when you help people fix some of the scarring that time or instances have had effect on them, it's a really good feeling to provide them with that, because it does way more, it changes people's lives. And it's awesome to be able to do that where it's attainable. It's attainable, and it's also cost effective. It's not a facial surgery. It's not hugely expensive. It does have cost, of course, as with everything, but it's attainable for a regular person to get this stuff done.
So what's the process of figuring that out? So somebody comes in and they say, I want to get something done. You have a consultation, the costs up front, things like that.
Like the business model essentially. Or the initial consultation point. I do offer injectables and stuff, but I don't ever lean into injectables. I always we find out what they like, what they don't like about their appearance, their concerns, and their ways of life. So if somebody's complaining about certain things like they're scarring their face, like what's causing the scarring? Like if you get these lines above your lips a lot, these are your barcodes essentially. That's kind of what we call them. Smoking, drinking out straws. It's like, okay, we're going to talk about like what's causing this. We're going to stop that now.
I know not to smoke, but I didn't know about not drinking out of a straw.
Drinking out of a straw does a real bad thing for guys. Can get away with it. Our skin's thicker, so like our wrinkles, we look, and different Fitzpatrick score skin, like lightness and darkness of skin types act, react differently to the sands of time. Like your skin's gonna be beautiful forever, man. Like
appreciate it.
No wrinkles to the day you die, essentially. And Bradford's got a lighter skin. It's a little bit thinner, and he might be a little bit older than you. So we'll figure it out, but. So it's more sensitive to damage to the sun, and so we consult on what that is, what their barriers to their goals are, what their goals are. We kind of gauge what their budgetary constraints are, if any, and we go from there to kind of pricings up front. You obviously save money by buying things in packages, and when you buy things in packages, it kind of keeps you honest, because if you already paid for it, you're going to want to stick with it, and you're going to kind of want to behave a little bit better effectively. So that's just kind of how we go about doing things. It's just nice sit down, nice chat. Like even with our medically managed weight loss stuff, up front, it's like an hour consultation to see what's going on with their weight management goals. So it's all a lot of education. You can see I'm wordy. I talk a lot. So it's all consultation. It's all consultation. It's all talking things through. It's all what's working best for them, and then kind of modulating the treatment plan based upon.
So tell me a little bit about the weight management and what you do with that.
So we do offer medically managed weight loss. Our weight loss program is centered around kind of a holistic approach. So I find that a lot of weight loss barriers are based in dietary restriction. So when you're on a diet, it takes up what I like to think of as a lot of mental bandwidth. So your brain, when you're on a diet, say you're on keto. When you're on keto, no bread, no sweets, no fun, no whatever. That's horrible for somebody's psyche. When you go out to eat dinner, you're scouring the menu, or you're Googling the menu before you get to like the restaurant to see what can I eat at dinner. And then effectively you're just like, I'll have a salad, with olive oil and vinegar, and
that may not be the best thing for you.
No, not really, no. So we find that if we institute a peptide, semaglutide, which is kind of the core component to like things like Ozempic and Wegovy. We provide that in its compounded form via subcutaneous injection once a week over the course of several months, increasing the dosing as tolerated. We can kind of titrate that person's appetite. So it kind of allows them to kind of take they can't eat whatever they want, obviously. There are some kind of contraindications to the situation, but it kind of lowers that mental bandwidth required that increases your stress. And then once you kind of start losing weight and your energy levels kind of get remodulated and stuff like that, then you kind of feel more empowered. We try to conference with our clientele to see what works for them. You're not gonna like making large swings in your behaviors, lifestyles, and diet is not going to work unless you have like a completely paradigm shifting like incident, like a I don't know, struck by lightning or something, you know?
Yeah, trauma.
Yeah, you need something like you need a car accident. No, so it's like you're not going to be able to just go work out every day. Someone who doesn't work out at all is not going to start working out every day unless like something horrible happens to them. Like,
Yeah, sure.
Unless like their wife leaves them, or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it's like. So we start with these small steps. We identify the issues. If it's sleep, if it's diet, if it's all the above, if it's their psyche, if it's anything else. We kind of identify their stressors, and then we start slowly modifying them as they become empowered. So that I think that gives you a much more effective weight loss modality as opposed to being like your fat workout, your fat stop eating good food, and your fat sleep more. Like it's just not going to work.
Yeah, or get an operation and what?
Yeah, get gastric bypass.
Yeah, and I've seen people do that, and all of a sudden they look great for a little while.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden a year later
they're all carved out. Yeah,
before.
Yeah, and like that's actually kind of I think is like kind of a fault in the healthcare system where they're really supposed to go through like an effective psychological examination to make sure that there's not like a psychological aspect to their weight gain, to make sure they have the tools. There's supposed to be like a certain action plan behind it. And I think some people think that like just getting a surgery is cheat codes. And it effectively is for a very short time.
Yeah.
But your body will adjust to that and it'll find its way. Like,
it might get worse
than
you started out with.
You've just modified your GI tract. You're not modifying anything else. So, I'm a huge Jurassic Park nerd, so life will find a way. So it's like your body will find pizza again. Like, it's not, so.
For sure. So what are your future plans for Fusion Aesthetics? And do you have any upcoming developments or expansion in mind?
So, yes. So we kind of operate on this 5-year plan. I know we went over it in one of our groups, endpoint being world domination, of course, right? as anybody should. No, not really. But so our plan encompasses pretty much just a continued trajectory in growth and bringing on our physician full-time once justified for some more intensive stuff. So Georgia and many states are relatively conservative with their medical board, so we require a medical director. So I've been so lucky to have a wonderful medical director, Dr. Stephen Oberly, who is he's a DO, so he has advanced training, an additional 200 hours in osteopathic medicine. So that's like he can do chiropractic work, he can do joint-based injections. He has more focus on holistic healthcare too, which very much does align with what we do. And bringing him in for more invasive stuff, we start talking about like joint-based PRP injections. So we can help stave off the necessity for certain surgeries in our joints, like knees and hips and shoulders, or like helping with bursitis and all kinds of things like that with joint-based injections. And the more invasive stuff really should be done in imaging with a physician. So we like to think that our next plans would be to expand to the point where we can justify bringing him in full-time and to really help us with that. And then subsequently speaking, since we operate on a concierge basis, we come to them. That's a wonderful business model for early stages of business. And I would like to think that we'd like to maintain that run and gun behavior long term. But once we expand to the point where I'm going to have to step back to a more managerial role as opposed to being the primary medical provider, we're going to have to delve into the idea of opening up a brick and mortar. A home base, if you will, to kind of do some of those things, because there's no way I'm going to bring an ultrasound machine in my truck every day. Like it's not going to work. It's not effective. So that tends to be our 3 to 5 year plan. That's how we're working. Recent developments and stuff like that. We are partnering with the Temple Treatment Loft. We like to aim to help some of these spas that don't offer medical aesthetics. They're just like kind of your more esthetician based stuff, and elevate their branding and elevate some of the services they offer, so they don't effectively lose any business to like a classical med spa. And so I've been so lucky to work with Kelly and her company, Temple Day Spa and Temple Treatment Loft is where we provide our services on Thursdays. An awesome opportunity to work with them and just learn from them and have them learn from me and just kind of collaborate and do things up there with them. And it's like it's just an awesome experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Mr. Ryan, I don't mean to cut this short, but how can the people get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, you can reach us via telephone, primarily speaking, social medias, all of them at Profusion Aesthetics, and www.profusionaesthetics.com. Via email, anything. Smoke signals will answer anything. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank y'all so much for joining the Dream Builders podcast, where our mission is to help buyers, sellers, agents, and small businesses reach the resources and knowledge to achieve their goals. This podcast is sponsored by Pace Properties Team, TheDream E.N.T, Real Estate for a Reason, and Make Real Estate Fun Again. Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan Frazier with Profusion Aesthetics, for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, Bradford.
Learned a lot. We got more to talk about.
For sure. And y'all go ahead and catch us on the next episode. And remember to always be awesome and attack every day with greatness. Peace.